We've got a packed house here for today's game. We're about ready to get underway.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Francisco from Sports Goofs.
A fly ball.
As
The center fielder.
I was wondering if I could get rid of this guy's voice here.
Jeff Blauser.
Off this announcer here. He's off. And I could change the camera or that's all. So we'll turn off the announcer. It's just me, Francisco from Sports Goofs. I know in the grand scheme of things, this fake baseball game from a video game that was released in 1996 or 95 isn't a big deal, but if anybody needs to just take a mental break from what's going on in the world, and particularly in the United States where I live, then feel free to join me. So I'll be talking about some old baseball players. Baseball may not even play, so that's another thing if you just care about baseball. But whatever, that's fine. We'll try and not think about some stuff, and I'll just start yapping up about some old baseball players. And well, one of them I do want to talk about, and I mean to talk about him for a while. A player I actually like this time, Fred McGriff, the first baseman for the Atlanta Braves over here. So Fred McGriff, first baseman. He batted lefty. He threw lefty when he played. 6'3", 200 pounds when he played. He was born October 31st, 1963. He's now 56 years old from Tampa, Florida. He was drafted by the New York Yankees in the 9th round of the 1981 June draft out of Jefferson High School in Tampa. He made his major league debut, Fred McGriff, May 17th, 1986, at the age of 22, versus the Cleveland Indians. And the side is retired here as the Braves are coming up. Fred McGriff is coming up here in the second inning. So once again, we're here in the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington. I'll talk about the Kingdome too for a bit. That's a base hit for Fred McGriff, and well, he collected 2,490 of those over the course of his career. And that's another base hit down the right field line. McGriff racing to third, and he's there cleanly. Men on first and third with no outs. Ryan Klesko with a grounder to first, and McGriff scores either way, so it worked. Javi Lopez is up as he gets a bloop single, and everybody's safe. There's one out. The Braves are buzzing here. That's a grounder to short, and that's the 6-4-3 double play. But the Braves get one here in the second. This game is going to run quickly, so I better start yapping about Fred McGriff pretty quickly too. So McGriff had no hits in his first major league game. He didn't even have an at-bat. I'm sure he was placed in as maybe a defensive replacement or a pinch runner. His last game ever came July 15th, 2004, at the age of 40, versus the Baltimore Orioles. He had 3 at-bats, but did not get a hit. So Frederick Stanley McGriff, his nickname was the Crime Dog, as he had the similar last name as Scruff McGruff from those PSA commercials from the 80s and 90s. He is also the cousin of Charles Johnson, who was a catcher primarily known for his time with the Florida Marlins, and Terry McGriff, another catcher primarily known for his time with the Cincinnati Reds.
Now batting, Jerome Walton.
And he made 5 All-Star teams, Fred McGriff. He won the 1995 World Series with the Atlanta Braves. 3-time Silver Slugger, and won an All-Star Game MVP award. McGriff played for, well, let's take a look at his career WAR. Wins above replacement, baseball reference, 52.6. 8,757 at-bats, 2,490 hits, as I said before, 493 home runs, so he was 7 away from 500, and a career 284 batting average for Fred McGriff. He was first brought up by the Toronto Blue Jays in 1986. And we'll take a look at his transaction history. With the Blue Jays, he wore number 19. His transaction history, well, he was drafted by the Yankees, as we said before, in the 9th round of the 81 draft. And then in 1982, he was traded by the Yankees with Dave Collins and Mike Morgan, along with cash, to the Toronto Blue Jays for Tom Dodd and Dale Murray.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Then, December 5th, 1990, McGriff was traded by the Blue Jays. And that's a home run for who else? Ken Griffey Jr. All right, so we got a 90s era Mariners home run, and it is by Ken Griffey Jr. That is spectacular. I'm glad that happened. An opposite field shot for Ken Griffey Jr. as Hall of Famers. Him and Edgar Martinez. Martinez grounds out there, but Griffey got a home run. He has tied this game 1-1. Seattle and Atlanta. Another Hall of Famer coming up here, Chipper Jones. There's a ton of these guys on both teams here. We got Chipper Jones, we got John Smoltz, we got Greg Maddux, we got Tom Glavine, we got Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr. Am I missing any? I might be. But those are the ones that come off the top of my head. And I guess for controversy's sake, some people would say Alex Rodriguez should be one, and some people don't. David Justice now coming up. There's a double. Let's continue on here with Senor McGriff. That's a base hit. David Justice. Ryan Klesko now. So McGriff is on third, I believe. So he's having a good game so far for the Braves. This is the Braves when they were the defending World Series champions. That's a strike. 68 miles per hour there. And that's a strikeout. Javi Lopez now. And so many big names here. That's a grounder to short. No harm, no foul for Seattle there. Jay Buhner coming up now. Oh, let's get back to Fred McGriff. So, yes, he was traded to the Blue Jays with Tony Fernandez to the San Diego Padres for, look at this, Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar and, of course, World Series hero Joe Carter. So while in San Diego, Fred McGriff wore number 29. Then, in July of 1993, he was traded by the San Diego Padres to the Atlanta Braves for Vince Moore, who just ended up being buried in the minors, Donnie Elliott, and Melvin Nieves. So he stuck around with the Braves, won the World Series with them, and then in December of 95, he re-signed with the Atlanta Braves as a free agent. Then, November of 1997, his contract was purchased by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays from the Atlanta Braves. So Fred McGriff came home to play in Tampa, well, St. Petersburg, really. While with the Braves, he wore number 27. Then went to Tampa, wore number 29. That's a grounder to second, and an out. This game is moving fast. We're already here at the top of the 5th inning, 1-1 here. That's a grounder to second. Joey Cora with the put out there. Marquise Grissom coming up now. Yikes, I haven't even gone through all of Fred McGriff's career. This is quick. This is really quick. So, July of 2001, Fred McGriff was traded by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays to the Chicago Cubs for a player to be named later and Manny Ibar. The Cubs would later send Jason Smith to the Rays to complete the trade. While with the Cubs, McGriff wore number 29. And then finally, we got McGriff signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers in free agency in December of 2002. Played with the Dodgers, wore number 28.
Now batting, Joey.
Then 2004, March, he re-signed with the Tampa Bay Rays. In July of 2004, he was released by Tampa. Although in actuality, what would have mattered for the Rays to release him? I'm surprised. This is one of the things. So Fred McGriff hit 493 career home runs. And I remember this, thinking back this in 2004. He was 7 home runs away. The Rays were just, for their first 10 years, were a garbage organization. So what would have it had hurt for them to keep Fred McGriff in the lineup playing first base or being a designated hitter and giving him the chance to hit 7 more home runs, which he likely would have done.
Fred McGriff.
I don't know if he would have hit 7 home runs between August and September, but at the very least, he could have gone into 2005. A hometown guy. The Rays weren't doing anything in 2005 anyways. I know they had Lou Piniella who was trying to get something going there, but he would go on to the Cubs anyways. Ken Griffey Jr. is up, and this is going to be an exciting watch here. And he flies out to second, so never mind. But either way, he's got a home run in this game. Well, so the Rays, early on in their history, because they had Wade Boggs hit his 3,000th hit there, they could have had and they could have scheduled, if Fred McGriff was sitting on 499, could have put him in the lineup only for home games so that they could drive up attendance, so that people could see a hometown guy hit his 500th home run, which is huge, especially for a guy that many people believe. I don't think there are any allegations of steroids from Fred McGriff. So what would have... Oh, wow, that center fielder was playing really shallow there. Of course, World Series Baseball 2, as you can see here, the scale of the ballpark is definitely not normal. It feels like a miniature version of the Kingdome here rather than a full-size version. They would remedy that in World Series Baseball 98. It would be a lot more realistic, but here it looks like a tinier version of the Kingdome is being played. So either way, it's still only 1-1, but yeah, it doesn't feel to scale here. But anyways, that's my criticism of the Tampa Bay Rays for not keeping Fred McGriff for at least one more season. I honestly believe he would have hit 7 more home runs in a year. In the time span of a year, he would have hit 7 more home runs. There's no way he was that good of a hitter. Even in his old age, I'm sure he would have gotten to a mistake by a major league pitcher and gotten to 500. So I'm just saying, kind of had something early on, Tampa. Just something early on, okay? Well, you guys were a garbage organization. 2008 on, you guys have been great. Tampa Bay, great organization, but you know. Well, anyways.
Now batting, Mark Lemke.
So yeah, he went back to Tampa and he would retire after that. So Fred McGriff, let's see how much money this guy more or less made. $65,860,818 over the course of his career. He got paid the most by the Chicago Cubs in 2002. The Cubs paid a 38-year-old Fred McGriff $7,250,000. So the 7th inning stretch is going on in the background. I guess I'll shut up for a bit. All right, so That was World Series Baseball's 2's rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. That's one out for the Mariners.
Dan Wilson.
Dan Wilson is up now. So yeah, the Cubs paid, that's a lot of money for 38-year-old Fred McGriff. 2002 Chicago Cubs. They would remedy that in 2003, don't worry. So yeah, let's see, what was Fred McGriff's career year? Actually, before I get to that, I want to get to his postseason numbers. So Fred McGriff played in the postseason 5 times. 1989 with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays lost the American League Championship Series to the Oakland A's in 5. In 1993, the Atlanta Braves lost the National League Championship Series in 6 to the Philadelphia Phillies. In 1995, the Braves won the 95 World Series over the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. 96, the Braves lost the World Series to the New York Yankees in 6. In 1997, the Braves lost the NLCS to the Florida Marlins in 6 games. So McGriff's 95 World Series, let's just say the World Series here. So 6 games played, 23 at-bats, 261 batting average.
Now batting.
Scored 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 doubles, and hit 2 home runs, 3 RBI, stole a base. So, and 7 strikeouts and 3 walks. So, not too shabby of a World Series for Fred McGriff. We've covered this. We've seen a lot worse here. And we're headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mariners have their 2 Hall of Famers coming up. Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez. We'll see if they can do something and break this tie. That's a grounder for Cora. 1 out here.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. takes a ball on the outside. This is a drive to right field. Warning track. David Justice gets that. And that was a very dangerous shot by Ken Griffey. He just missed that. Edgar Martinez grounds out to short. And, well, that's it for the Mariners. With the Braves, they got some boppers too. David Justice, Ryan Klesko, and Javi Lopez are coming up here.
Batting, David Justice.
Well, that's a strike. Let's continue on here. So we're in the 9th inning. And I've only covered 1 baseball player. This game moves fast. I didn't expect to be... I was expecting at the very least a half hour, but... But we could get extra innings. So that's a hit off of the right field wall. A long single for Klesko. Javier Lopez. Now, we've talked about Ryan Klesko before. And that's a base hit. So Braves have a guy on first and second with 1 out. Lemke is up. That's a grounder to second. And they get the guy at second, but cannot get Lemke at first. But there are 2 outs here. And the Braves with a shot. That's a grounder to first. And the Braves' threat is over. Jay Buhner coming up for Seattle to lead off the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning. Buhner can end this game himself. That's a strike there. Very nice, 69 miles per hour. Strike 2. Buhner's down 0-2 here. We'll see what happens. And that's a fly to right field. Justice is under that. And that's an out.
Now batting, Paul Sorrento.
Well, let me see if I can scrounge up some more stuff. Well, actually, I didn't talk about Fred McGriff's regular season career here.
Russ
So,
Davis.
what would be his career year? He's had some good ones. So, the 95 strike shortened season. he was having a really good year. Really, really good year. That's the 94 season is a unfortunate year for a lot of baseball players and teams. So in 113 games in the strike canceled Major League Baseball season, Fred McGriff scored 81 runs, had 135 hits when it ended. So just imagine him playing 50 more games. 25 doubles. He hit 34 home runs to that point. 34 home runs. His career high was 35, and he had 34 at 113 games. So give him 50 more games. I mean, yikes. 94 RBI, 7 stolen bases, 76 strikeouts, but a .318 batting average. A fantastic, fantastic season for him there. And yeah, that's... he made the All-Star team, finished 8th in MVP voting. So it's just one of those big what-ifs for a lot of guys. Had that 94 season been fully completed, what would the numbers have been? What records would have fallen? Who would have won the World Series? And of course, the Montreal Expos probably would still be in Montreal right now. And Washington would have probably, I don't know. We'd be talking now about an expansion franchise for Washington. That's what we'd be talking about. Anyways, so we're here in extra innings, 1-1 still, as now the managers are. This is Lou Piniella on the Mariners side, Bobby Cox, Hall of Fame manager. For the Braves, Fred McGriff is coming up. Well, he can end this. Well, not end this game. He's a visiting team, but he can put the Braves up ahead.
Fred McGriff.
Now, what would be his, I guess, his non-strikeout or non-94 strike best season? Well, Well, McGriff, his second season in Tampa, 1999. Look at this. At 35 years old, he played 144 games, 529 at-bats, scored 75 runs, 164 hits, 30 doubles, 1 triple, 32 home runs, and 104 RBI. Stole a base, 86 walks, 107 strikeouts, and a .310 batting average. So that was at 35 years old for an expansion team. That's really good. His 96 season, and his 92 season in San Diego is pretty darn good too. Wow. I mean, Fred McGriff between, I would say, 1990 and 97, or you could say just basically the 90s for Fred McGriff. I mean, he was an elite first baseman that anybody would want on their team, and the Braves, well, they got a championship out of it. And so let's see here. That's a fly out to right. Another dangerous one out there. Jay Buhner now, as we're trying to see if somebody can end this, and that's another out. We are continuing on with this game, and we've only talked about one player. I thought this would last a lot longer, but it is by virtue of the extra inning. So we're here in the 12th, and that's a line out to third, as I'm going to look for more facts about Fred McGriff from Wikipedia. If my phone will load up that data for me, that would be very nice. Anytime, phone. You can do it. There we go.
Now batting,
man, this is taking
Jerome
forever.
Walton.
Okay, let's get back to this. So he led the leagues, the American League and National League, in home runs in separate years. He led the AL in 1989 and the NL in 1992. So he had 493 home runs, which ties with Lou Gehrig. Of course, Lou Gehrig had his career shortened by ALS, a disease that was also named after him. And he currently works in the Atlanta Braves front office as special assistant to baseball operations. So Fred McGriff is helping the Atlanta Braves right now, trying to return to, well, I mean, it's working right now. The Braves have rebuilt their franchise behind young superstars like Ronald Acuna Jr.
Dan Wilson.
And Fred McGriff, he said he would prefer being called the Fire Dog. That's his preferred nickname. But whatever. But he is fond of his nickname. It's a cool nickname too, the Crime Dog. Yeah, that's a pretty cool nickname, all right?
Marquise Grissom.
So, one of the things that I do, and I'm sure a lot of people just know Fred McGriff for, is because of the Tom Amansky baseball fundamentals VHS videos, that like the commercials that ran throughout the 90s on basically everything, on Nickelodeon, on Cartoon Network, on ESPN, and or TBS when I guess the Braves were playing, where Fred McGriff would just show up. And you hear about those back-to-back AAU national championship teams. And I've always posed this, and I guess I should pose a question to the world out there. Those, I guess, I don't know what years those back-to-back AAU national championships were, but did any of those guys on those teams make it to the major leagues or have any sort of significant career? I just want to know, just to see if it led those guys to the baseball promised land. I'm just asking because that would be the ultimate goal of getting those VHS tapes. But and he also hosts a radio show now in Tampa, Fred McGriff. So he fell off the Hall of Fame ballot last year in 2019 after not receiving the 75% of votes required to make it in during his 10 years of eligibility. He will be eligible for the National Baseball Hall of Fame as part of the Today's Game committee in 2022. So there's still a chance Fred McGriff could make the National Baseball Hall of Fame. There's still a chance. So he retired in spring training of 2005 when he received no calls requesting his services. By that point, McGriff was, he was 40 years old in spring of 2005, and I still believe the Rays could have kept them on for one more season, and that's a home run! Fred McGriff, the guy we've been talking about the entire game. How poetic, how fantastic is baseball? The man hits the home run to finally break up this tie in the 14th inning. And it could wind up being the game-winning run. I expected this broadcast to be 30 minutes long. We're at 29 minutes now. So and that's back-to-back home runs. David Justice just tucking it in right next to the right field foul pole. And the Atlanta Braves have finally broken this game open. 3-1. So the Seattle Mariners are trying to salvage this game, and that's another dangerous fly ball. Ryan Klesko almost getting a third home run in a row for the Braves, and that's a base hit, and the Wheelers are I said that weirdly. The wheels are coming off for the Seattle Mariners here in the 14th inning. That's a foul ball for Javi Lopez. There are no outs. That's a fly out to left. Oh, man. I don't think I can cover another player at this point. I probably was going to try and pick somebody that didn't have a long career just to get one more in there, but I think this is just going to be the Fred McGriff episode, or Fred McGriff broadcast. Well, that's fine. Fred McGriff deserves it, and maybe he'll make the Hall of Fame, which I guess part of me hopes. So Jay Buhner now, the Mariners down 2. We'll see what happens, and that's a fly towards right field, and it hits off of the wall. Justice gets it off the carom. That's a base hit only, and that's a grounder up second base, and the Braves cannot turn 2, but they get the lead runner at second. 1 out. That's a strike. So let's see, and that's a pickoff move to first. Nothing doing there. A fly towards right field, and that's another base hit. Wow, it just hits off the wall. These are coming really close. The Mariners are putting on a bit of a rally here, and now he dives in right field, and suddenly we have bases loaded with 1 out, and Alex Rodriguez is up. We'll see what happens as he grounds to short. A 6-4. Ooh, and they cannot pull off the double play. The Mariners come within 1. It's 3-2 now. So we'll see what the Braves... Oh, the Mariners putting on a pitch hitter. Luis Sojo is up to bat, and he grounds out to short. And that's it. The game is over, but a fantastic, exciting finish. The Braves win 3-2. So, wow. This is... that was quite an exciting finish. Wohlers with the victory there. Charlton for the Mariners getting the loss. So let me take a look here. Give me a second to regain control here. So the Braves 3-2. They score 2 on 2 home runs back to back by Fred McGriff and David Justice in the top of the 14th inning. The Mariners rallying in the bottom of the 14th, score a run, but had a chance to win it and could not. Let's take a look at some of the game stats here. The Braves going 13 for 54 on the day. The Mariners 13 for 55. Very even between both teams. 13 hits for both teams. The Braves' difference, the 2 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr. tying the game early on in the, rarely early on in the game. Got a home run there. 2 strikeouts only, and that's by Randy Johnson, the starter. So, let's see, any more statistics for this game? I guess not. Well, that's as deep a dive as we can do. So this is Francisco from Sports Goose. I don't know when our next broadcast will be or what we will broadcast, but for those of you who did join me, even for a brief moment, I saw y'all there. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking a little break from everything that's going on. And everybody stay safe and try and treat each other right if you can. And let's hope we can get things to be better. So thank you all. Take care. Braves win 3-2 over the Mariners here at the Kingdome.